y'all, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty fall welcome wreath. Alright y'all, let us get started. First off, you're going to need a grapevine wreath form. Where did I get this? I believe this one came from Joann's, but you can get them pretty much at any craft store. It is 13 inches from the outer point to the outer point. You're also going to need a sign. I have two signs here. Where do these signs come from? I make these metal signs myself, and I do have them available for sale in my shop, Southern Sign Designs. Look down in the description box, and I'll also pin a comment with the link to where you can get these signs. So I've been working all this past week making signs, and I have two here, and I think I'm going to use this one right here that says welcome. Now, to mount these signs, you're going to need something called cable tie mounts. I was going to say table tie mounts. Cable tie mounts. Now, I got these at Lowe's. Pretty much any hardware store or any store that carries zip ties should have these. Yes, they say cable ties. I call them zip ties. But they have these little mounting brackets here. Let me get one out. Okay. This is what they look like. And they have a sticky backing. I don't trust the sticky backings at all. So I peel off the paper, okay? You want to take that piece of paper off, and then you're going to glue that bracket to the back of your sign, and you are going to put that on there with some E6000. I do not recommend using, what is that, Rapid Fuse by DAP. I suggest E6000. This works much better. Just glue those down to your sign. Let it cure for 24 hours, please, before putting it on there, on your wreath. So we have that, and as you can see, these little openings here, you slip some zip ties, or you can use floral wire to attach it to your wreath. Now, I think I'm going to use floral wire because this is a grapevine wreath. On the metal framed wreaths, zip ties work pretty well, but for this wreath I'm just going to use some of this floral wire. I believe for me it works better. And what I'm going to do is, see, I just cut a piece of wire. Can you see it? Probably not. And you're just going to run it through the little openings on these brackets here, see, like so. And then you're just going to flip it around, and you're going to take your wire and just wrap it around your wreath frame. So I'm going to do that because I'm going to hold it in my lap, and I'll be back. Okay, our sign is very well attached. This baby ain't going anywhere. But now what we're going to do is make a bow. Now I have some ribbon here. This is just plain old wired ribbon, 2.5 inches wide. This came from Michael's, and this came from Hobby Lobby. This is 1.5 inches wide. So let's try to decide first about how wide we want our bow. This is my easy no tie bow. Y'all have seen me make this bow like a gazillion times. And I think that looks okay. So you're going to take your ribbon and measure the width that you want your bow, and then you're going to fold that in half, okay? And now we're just going to trim this, okay? Let's get that out of the way. And now we can move this wreath because we're not going to need it for a few minutes yet, okay? Here is this ribbon. This is so cute. I thought these colors would go really well together. And now you're just going to cut this to the same length as this piece that you cut just a second ago of the orange. Okay, put that over there. And we're going to be gluing this into a loop. So let's get this together. You want to try to match up your edges as good as possible. They don't have to be perfect, okay? It does not have to be perfect. You're just going to layer it like so. Now let's make sure that our glue gun is hot. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be using hot glue, and then I forget to plug the darn thing in. And then you're just going to fold this over, just barely overlap it. Okay. Now we need a little bit of glue right there for the striped ribbon. Okay. Now, you're going to make 2 more of those. Now, I took a piece of wire. You can see about how long this is, and it's folded in half. So to that piece of wire, let's just lay that there. All right, I need to flip these back over. So I have my loops here with the seam facing down. So now you're just going to take this, fold it frontwards in half, and then fold that little piece back. And it looks kind of like a bow tie at this point. Okay, this does not have to be perfect. Everybody's like, oh, your bows, you need a bow maker. No, you don't. You do not need a bow maker. It's a luxury. You don't need it. Your bows do not have to be perfect. There's so many people out there, you know, that don't want to start making wreaths because they're afraid that their bows aren't going to look right. Baby, bows, make them however you want to make them. Okay. So as you can see, I'm just kind of like layering the 3 loops like that. Okay. Take your piece of wire. I'm just going to wrap it around, pull it tight, and that's just going to hold everything in place. Okay. So you can free your hands up and hold everything together. Okay, that looks good. Let's cut some tails for this now. Now for the tails, it doesn't really matter what length, whatever length you think looks good. Sometimes I cut it like the length of the pieces that we did for our loops. But I'm just going to take this ribbon here. Let's just fold it. Let's just put it, I don't want to be too short. You can always cut your ribbon longer than what you need, but it's kind of hard if you cut it shorter than what you need. Let's just cut that, and then I'm going to cut another piece the same length. I have both pieces cut, and I did dovetail the ends. So let's see. Just lay that on top. Just kind of try to find the center. You can fold it in half here. This looks to be about the center. As you can see, I just kind of squished it like so, like we were doing when we were putting our loops together. Get out of there. Why are you here? I'll just hold it to the back. And I'm just going to take this wire and just wrap it around. Okay? Like so. Okay? I've been saying okay so much today. My little boy, he's got this thing. He's been singing an awful lot lately, and it's rubbing off on me. I know that's annoying. Now just twist your wire here, and I'm going to trim off the excess. Now we're going to put on a middle for our bow. Don't worry about what it looks like right now. I don't even worry about fluffing these out until I'm done with it. So now we need to make a center. Now for the center, I'm going to take another piece of wire, pretty long, because we're going to use this to attach it to the wreath, okay? And then I just folded it in half for extra durability and just going to lay it over there. So now I have just a little piece of this ribbon here, and I'm going to put just a little bit of hot glue there. We're just going to fold the edges in. You don't want it to be too wide because it's not going to look right. And fold those edges in. And now we have a little strip that I'm going to glue down in the center. This ribbon is very thick, so I'm not worried about the hot glue showing through the front. I'm just going to kind of place that there. And let's make sure that this glue sets up before I flip it over. I took this end here and brought it up. I need to put just a little dot more of glue there. So I brought that end up and glued it down. Now we're just going to take our piece of wire and just going to lay it right there. Yeah, that looks good. And I'm going to put a blob of glue right here. And now we're going to bring up this other end. Oop, stay there, sir. Now we're just going to bring up our other end of our ribbon and glue that in place. So now we have our bow. Where did my wreath go? Oh, Lordy, I'm running over all kinds of stuff over here. All right, so now we have this, and this is going to be our bow. Now, I'm not going to fasten this bow down just yet. I want to get some florals on, and then, you know, then you can move things around, see how it looks, see how you want it to be. And I think that I want the bow to be on this side. That's what I'm thinking. I thought about the bottom, like, no, because then that covers up some of the lettering on this side. So I think I'm going to have the bow on this side. So now we're going to attach some of our florals. So for our florals, I have a bunch of stuff that I got at Hobby Lobby. So I got these beautiful leaves, some blue and some white, and then I have some pumpkins in this bag as well. An orange and blue pumpkin. I don't know if I'm going to even use those at this point. I wanted to, but I don't know if I am. So let us start off, I think, with the leaves, because that's going to be on the back, like, you know, the background for all of our stuff. So this is a very large bundle of leaves, and I'm just going to cut some of these off with my wire cutters. So this is pretty much the easy part, is attaching everything. Now this does have a wire that runs up through the entire length of the branch, which I appreciate because, you know, sometimes they don't do that. And then once you get it on your wreath, then worry about flipping your leaves over and whatnot. Don't even attempt to try to do that while you're gluing everything down. And I say glue because you can use hot glue if you want to attach your greenery, your leaves, your flowers, what have you. I think I am going to use floral wire. If you want to use hot glue, go ahead, and then I would go back with some wire, you know, and really fasten that down. So let's cut a piece. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Amber, I can't even cut this wire. It's wanting to fly around on me. Now, when I attach florals with the wire, you see like this little part right there? I don't attach it down there because then it's going to pull right back out, right? Attach it right here, so where if it pulls, it's going to catch on that right there. I think that looks good. So the way that you attach this is just take your wire. You can kind of loop it in half like so. I'm just going to kind of go around it. Uh-oh, get on there. One is longer than the other. And then, depending on like how tightly woven your wreath is, you can go like down in between the pieces here, or I might just wrap it around this big piece here. However you can work with your wreath frame, that's how you do it, okay? So I'm just going to wire these leaves down. Our leaves are wired on there, and not only did I wire them down here, but once you like bend it around and get it exactly where you want it, I also wired it down up here so that it doesn't flop around, okay? It's going to stay sort of like following the shape of your wreath. Now, if you want it, you know, sticking up all willy-nilly, which I don't like wreaths like that, but if that's what you like, then, you know, let it stick out wherever you want it to. We have these, let's see, there's 3, and I wish that there were 4. Well, I just pulled his doohickey off. Let's leave that over there. Okay, so let's cut this off here. We'll cut this one off as well. Now let's compare the length here. Are these kind of sort of same length? Kind of sort of. Okay, so I'm just going to, I think that would look good right there. And now we're just going to attach this using the same method that we did for the leaves. You're just going to cut a piece of wire. Now you see how this kind of sticks out here? I would run your wire like around this. I got glue on my hand. I would run your wire around that. So like if it pulls, it's still, even though if this might pop off, there's still a little bit of nubby there that is going to hold it in place. And like I said, of course, if you want to hot glue this down as well, do so. I'm just going to use the wire. But let me wire these down and we'll come back and take a look. So now we have our blue pieces attached here, and I'm just going to kind of hold the bow up, which I need to put just a little bit more glue right there at the top. Ooh, I got a piece of wire right there. So let's bring the tails down, and now you can really start to see where you want your bow. And I think I want the bow moved down. See, not you know, level with the sign over here. Just move down a little bit like that, because I have these white pumpkins that I'm going to add up top. And then I have 2 pumpkins over here that I'm thinking about adding. Now there's several different ways that you can add pumpkins like this. You see this one has like a little pick on it, which if you want your pumpkin like be upright like this, then you just bend the pick and stick it through the wreath like that. Now if your pumpkin doesn't have one of these on it, you can use pipe cleaner, poke a hole in it, and then carefully put some hot glue in there. Glue you in a pipe cleaner, and then, you know, glue it in like that. Put some glue on the back. You can poke a hole, top, bottom, like with a wooden skewer. Just run it straight through, and then you can run a wire through your pumpkin like that, and it will hold it on that way. However you want to attach it, you can hot glue it, just hot glue it down if you want to. I have not yet decided how I want to attach my pumpkins, so I'm going to have to stop and think about that. You stupid gnat! I have to stop and think about that. Let me just cut the price tag off that, and I'm just going to set that over there. So this came from Hobby Lobby. And I had these little, I'm going to have to bend these and swirl these around a little bit. This is a very thick stem here. This was $6.99, but it was on sale. I didn't pay $6.99 for it. And the way that I'm going to attach that is the same as we've been attaching everything else, okay? Now, because this is very heavy, I'm going to put some wire down here, and I'm also going to put some wire up here wherever I can get it to hold on the best, okay? And then the good thing with this is you can just bend these little pumpkins around however you want them to look. And I'm just going to have them coming out of the top like this way, okay? Because the tails of our bow is hanging down. It would cover up pretty much anything down here like this. So I'm just going to trim this, I'm going to say right about here with my wire cutters. So my little white pumpkins here are pretty well fastened down. And now I'm going to bring the bow down. Like I said, I'm just trying to see like how this is going to look. Because I want to have some pumpkins. Let's pull this off because I'm not going to use that, I don't believe. Have some pumpkins here. I just got to play with it, okay? Just to see. But I believe the way that I'm going to fasten these down is, like I said, with a wooden skewer. Now, if you go in and then like pop up through the top, sometimes like this coating that's on the foam here will come off in a big piece. So I suggest finding which side of your pumpkin you want to be on the back, taking your skewer and then starting at the top, okay? Just be careful with this. Just be careful, pushing it all the way through, see? Like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of your floral wire and you're going to run it through that hole that you just made. I took my floral wire and I bent it in half. That gives you like the strength that you need to like push that through the hole. Now, why did I go from top to bottom instead of from side to side? It just depends on how you want to do it. Sometimes going from side to side, I felt sometimes it weakens it. I mean, it's hard to explain until you actually get in there and you start doing it. And it, you know, depends on you and how you want to attach your pumpkins. But see how I've got that? Now I'm just going to find where I want the pumpkin. And I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to try to wrap it around like one of the rungs, you can say, like one of the pieces of the wreath here, okay? And this is going to take me a moment to just place everything and get it right where I want it. But that's how you do that. And then you can just wire it to, if you want to wire it to your florals, wire it to that. If you want to run it through and run it through this piece here, you can do that. If you want to cut a really long piece of wire and just wrap it completely around the wreath, you can do it that way, okay? But just give me a minute. I'm going to do the same thing on this blue pumpkin and we'll come back and see what that looks like. I believe that this is how I want it to look. Now, I know it looks bad on camera because, you know, everything is laying down. It looks so much better hanging up. And as you can see at the beginning of the video, I took a nice photo and you could see it then. But anyway, this is our bow, of course, that we made a while ago. Where's the other end of the wire? It went away. So we're just going to take this and we're just going to wire it down. I don't know if I want to fluff up. You know what? Let's fluff it up just a little. We can see how that looks. Sometimes these bows look just fine not being fluffed. Some of these bows on these wreaths out here are overkill and I don't like it. Well, we'll fluff these up just a little bit, see how that looks. And then I'm going to attach it and I'll kind of back away, see how that looks. If I like it fluffed, I'll leave it fluffed. If not, then I'll flatten them back out. However you want to do yours. Okay, I'm just going to wire this bow down and then that will be that, okay? And then go back and trim off all of the pieces of wire on the back and then just tuck the ends in up into your wreath so that you don't risk scratching your door. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you would, please give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.